Welcome, let's talk birth control. The real talk, not the sugar-coated version we often get from the doctor's office. You deserve to know everything about what you're putting into your body. My name is Sandra Carmen and I welcome you to my channel. And I'm not here to tell you what to do, just to share what I wish someone had told me, from friend to friend, No matter where you stand on birth control, whether you love it, take it, or never have given it much thought, just hear me out on this one, please. And before we get fully started with today's topic, I would like to remind you that my course, Cycle Aligned, launches on February 4th. That's tomorrow from the day this video goes live. Oh, party! It is a heartfelt project that I've been working on with all my love and all my passion. And I feel so honored to take you on a journey day by day to really discover the power of your cycle. You start this online course on day 1 of your period, and I take you through a 28-day cycle aligned to the moon cycle every month that really shows you how to be your best possible self on every day of this cycle. No matter if you're bleeding, if you're ovulating, or somewhere in between, this is a complete, comprehensive guide to show you what's best to do in your career to advance and climb the career ladder faster, to be your most joyful self in connections and personal relationships, how to really align with your emotions and honor what is happening inside of you. We will cover so many topics that are helpful for women to know, and honestly, they are non-brainers in so many tribes and in the ancient traditions, but our modern lives, modern society is not teaching these golden nuggets of wisdom anymore. And it's a shame. It truly is life-changing to know about these things. And just as you deserve to hear all about the following topic of this video, you really deserve to be your absolute best self in alignment with your true feminine essence and to radiate all the potential and all the love and everything you can offer and gift to the people around you. So I'd love to see you on the inside, because this is going to be a game changer for you in all areas of life. But now, let's start the video. When I was 18, I quit the pill after taking it for 4 years, and I didn't bleed for an entire year. I stopped taking hormonal birth control and my body was lost. It was kind of cool at first because, summertime, you don't have to worry about period products, but I was also confused, and honestly, it was kind of terrifying. A whole year of wondering if my body was broken, if I lost my fertility forever. But eventually, after 14 ridiculous months or something like that, it slowly started to come back again. I was relieved. And the chapter 1 in the book Beyond the Pill by Dr. Jolene Brighten describes exactly this. What happens when your body forgets how to cycle naturally after years on the pill. And I had been doing the standard 7-day break. I did everything correctly, but then it stopped completely. My body had literally unlearned how to have a cycle on its own. And honestly, can't even imagine what would have happened if I hadn't taken those menstrual breaks and had just kept taking the pill straight. So many friends I knew did that, especially in the summer, to skip their period entirely. It sounded so practical and convenient, but my intuition kept ringing the alarm on this one, and an inner voice kept saying, this can't be good for you. Your body needs a rhythm. It needs to detox. So I stuck with the schedule, thinking I was doing the right thing, and yet, despite, I still went a full year without having a period, and the worries hit me hard. I asked myself, what is going on with my reproductive health? What's happening to my body? And in that moment, I made a promise to myself, never again. And then later, I was in a relationship, wanted the hassle-free option. So my gynecologist suggested the hormonal IUD. I was hesitant at first, but then they kept saying it's the safest, the best out there, and eventually I allowed my hesitation to be turned into a yes. And then everything started to change. My libido disappeared, I gained weight, my skin got worse, and I felt like I was trapped in this constant fog of energy that was dragging me down. I felt anxious, I wasn't myself anymore. And the thing is, while it took me a while to realize it and to really be in tune with myself, I still noticed something was off. And it was only after I started digging into personal development that I started connecting the dots. But one morning when I sat down for my meditation, out of nowhere, the strong intuitive message hit me. It was clear. It said, fly back, make an appointment with your gynecologist, and get your hormonal IUD removed as soon as possible. You are not on the verge of depression, it's just the hormones. You are not out of balance, it is the IUD. And in that moment, I knew what to do. And I acted. Then it only took 3 cycles after removing the IUD until I felt my ovulation again. I could even sense if it was on the left or right ovary. And that moved me to tears. I was so proud. And studies actually show that hormonal birth control can negatively affect mental health, causing depression, mood swings, and emotional numbness. One large study from the University of Copenhagen from 2016 found that women on hormonal contraceptives were 23% more likely to be prescribed antidepressants, with teen girls at even higher risk. Another study published back in 2019 linked birth control to increased anxiety, fatigue, and blunting. All of that is linked below. And I started taking the pill when I was 14, so looking back now, I can definitely see how it affected me. But overall, all that time, I didn't even notice. I just thought that's what puberty is like, because everyone talks bad about puberty being an emotional roller coaster and so on and so forth. But the sadness and the anxiety weren't just part of the deal. It wasn't just puberty. I can definitely see that now that as an adult I have more insights. And I see that every single time I've taken synthetic hormones as an adult, they've dragged me down with negative side effects. Now, am I still grateful for the pill? Oh yeah, I was in a long relationship as a teenager, and I definitely don't regret taking it, because I might have ended up as a teen mom and my entire life path would have been completely different. So here's my truth. I would never recommend it to anyone anymore, but I'm grateful for it, because now I know there are just better options, and I didn't know that back then. So no sugarcoating, here's some real talk. What's really happening to our bodies? Hormonal birth control doesn't just prevent pregnancy, it shuts down your natural cycle. Your body stops producing its own hormones and relies on the synthetic ones instead. For some of us, this works fine, but for others, it can trigger mood swings, anxiety, and loss of libido. You just don't want sex anymore, which is actually the point of birth control, huh? So we struggle emotionally. There can be a persistent fatigue, and my story doesn't end there. I also tried the implant. You can still see the scar here on my arm. It was removed after just 6 months because honestly, I couldn't last any longer with it. All of the hormonal contraceptives I've tried, this one was by far the worst for me personally. I followed all the rules to the T, but my body said loud and clear, no, we don't like that. I literally never stopped bleeding the entire time it was in my arm. 6 months straight. Either a full-blown period or just spotting, and oh my lord, it was freaking annoying because it was not enough for a tampon or pad, but also more than a thin panty liner could handle, you know. And to make matters worse, I was spending quite a lot of time around beaches and on islands during that time, so super high maintenance, super inconvenient. And the worst part, this was the most common, safest, and most researched implant on the market. Let me tell you, none of that mattered for me. When it was removed, I cried actual tears of joy and relief. It felt like some external entity that had been dragging me down had finally left my body. And that moment I'll remember forever. My happy giggles were infectious. I just couldn't help it because the relief was just so real. And one of the nurses who assisted me actually looked at me and said, I can literally see the veil of heaviness lifting off you. And that's exactly how it felt. Like I'd been carrying around this invisible weight for 6 months, and in that moment it was gone. Was my reaction a little extreme? Maybe. But do I feel like I'm this in tune with the changes in my body under birth control because I've spent years doing inner work and healing? Oh, 100%. And do I think more women and non-binary folks around the world are negatively affected by hormonal contraception and they don't even realize it? Oh, you bet. Probably way more than we can imagine. But here's another thing. We have to honor all the factors that play into the choices we make. Some people take the pill for reasons they haven't fully explored yet, or because they haven't found alternative solutions that work for them. I'm speaking more to the ones who were perfectly fine before the pill, who weren't prescribed it to fix anything, just to prevent pregnancy. That's where I want to step in and say, there are other options. Non-invasive, hormone-free, and just as effective. A better way for me personally was discovering natural birth control, because it empowers me. And I knew that I needed a change. My intuition told me so, and the inner voice got so loud I couldn't ignore it. So 4 years ago, 5 actually at this point, I chose natural cycles because it's an FDA-cleared birth control method and science-backed. It works by tracking my basal body temperature, and I use it in combination with the Oura Ring, which automates the process for me. No synthetic hormones, just a deep understanding of my own cycle. And just to be clear, this isn't an ad. There's no sponsorship here. I'm mentioning names because I truly believe in non-invasive and natural methods, and because you deserve to hear this. You deserve to feel like yourself. So it's a recommendation from my heart to yours. And I have to also say, not everyone experiences these side effects. But if you've been struggling with anxiety, depression, or just feeling emotionally off, and you're currently taking synthetic hormones, implant, IUD, the pill, it might be worth considering a change. There's a book I want to recommend. It's called Your Brain on Birth Control by Dr. Sarah E. Hill. It reveals crucial information every woman on hormonal birth control deserves to know. And at the end of the day, it's about you, your body, and your well-being. Please do what feels right. Take care of yourself. I just felt like you deserve hearing this, and I'm sending you a lot of love.